Hello, I'm Jonathan M0JSX, or given the title of this video, should I say K6JSX. That's right, today I want to talk about why and how I have an American call sign as a Brit living in the UK. There's a question I often get asked, which is, Jonathan, why do you have an American call sign? Well, there's a very simple answer to that question, and it was kind of because I could. If I'm completely honest, that's the only reason. It was because I could and because I kind of wanted the challenge of doing it. So let's start at the beginning, and I'll briefly tell you my story of getting an American call sign. So I did the exams at the RSGB convention in Milton Keynes over 2 consecutive years. 2018, I did my tech and my general, and in 2019, I did my extra. In 2018, I was the only candidate in the room. There was more examiners than there were candidates. 2019, there was significantly more candidates in the room. After I'd passed my general exam in 2018, I got allocated the call sign KE8KTZ, which I then used the vanity call sign system that the FCC operate to select the call sign K6JSX. Now, the American system is far different to the UK system in terms of licenses and call signs. You can't necessarily tell the license class by the call sign itself. So when I passed my amateur extra exam in 2019, I kept the same call sign of K6JSX with the new privileges allocated to that call sign. So of course, all of that was pre-pandemic. All of that happened in a time where going somewhere and sitting an exam wasn't a crazy idea. So how can you get an American call sign now, today in 2022? It's still possible, and in fact it's even easier. The first thing you need to do is you need to grab yourself an FCC registration number, also abbreviated to FRM. Now you can get one of these free from the FCC website, and I'm going to put the link just here. Once you've got that, you can then sign up for the Universal Licensing System, the ULS. This is the portal, much like the Ofcom portal here in the UK, where you can actually apply and change and update your call sign if you need to with any information. The second thing you need is a US mailing address. So unlike in the UK, where actually you don't need a UK address to hold a UK call sign, in America you do need a US address in order to hold a US call sign. Now for me, I was very fortunate. I have family out in the States, so a quick email to make sure I could use their address sorted me out. There are other options though. There are companies which will sell you a PO box and then forward any mail to you. That's one option. If you have friends in the States, of course, that's another option as well. One thing to note though is it is imperative that you can access any mail that is sent to this address. Don't pick a random address and hope for the best. I say this because if you're signing up for Logbook of the World using your American call sign, the ARRL will send a physical piece of paper to your mailing address as proof of ID. However, the FCC have now caught on and send all of your license documentation by email rather than through the mail. In fact, there's a really good article written in the February 2022 QST talking about this, because in America, GDPR is not a thing, and data protection is handled in an entirely different way as it is here in the UK and the EU. In the US, your call sign address is publicly available. Therefore, even if you are in America and you are an American that's happened to stumble across this video about how to get your call sign, you might still want to consider getting yourself a PO box so that your physical address is not public knowledge. Now, preparing for your American exam is actually pretty easy, as the question pool used for the exams is in the public domain and it is published by the ARRL. Now, there's a really handy app called Ham Study, which will fire random questions to you, enabling you to either memorize in some cases or to actually learn the answer to the questions. Now, it's possibly better to do the second and actually understand the electronics and the reasoning behind the correct answer. But if you're someone who can just memorize question answers, then you're still going to pass your exam. It's also worth buying the license manuals for the particular license level that you're looking to achieve. You can buy these in either hard or softback or as a digital download. Personally, I'm someone who much prefers to lean back when they're reading, so I bought a physical copy when I was doing my exam. It's up to you though. Now, finding an exam session for the American licenses in the UK can be a bit of a struggle. As I said earlier, I did mine at the RSGB convention. Now, as and when that becomes physical again, I'm sure that the US exams will be offered once again. But for the moment, while the RSGB convention is online, obviously that's not happening. There are a couple of clubs in the UK that will offer US exams. If you have a look at the ARRL website, you'll be able to find where they are. However, this is 2022 and we're in a pandemic, and in fact the ARRL has caught on. I mentioned the Ham Study app earlier on. That's now being used as a portal for online examinations, and there are many clubs across the states which are offering remote invigilated exam sessions via Ham Study. You can find a full list of these on the ARRL website. Therefore, you could pass your exam without leaving the comfort of your own home. Another big difference between the UK and the US is how much you pay for your license. So in the UK, each level of license is charged at a different rate, all the way from about £27.50 for the foundation exam, all the way up to nearly £50 for the full exam. Under the American system, you don't pay for your license individually, you pay for the exam session, and that's charged at $15 per exam session. And another beauty is that if you pass your technician license, you can then go and do your general exam immediately. If you pass your general, you can then do your extra exam. Now, if, for instance, you passed your tech but failed your general and wanted to have another go at the general, you'd have to pay a second $15. So bearing this in mind, you could easily go from 0 to extra fully licensed in one exam session, and that's not that uncommon. If you study hard and maybe you have a background in electronics, you could easily do that. So there we have it, a very brief overview of how to get your American call sign. It's something I do genuinely recommend doing, particularly if you're going to spend any time in America, maybe on holiday or maybe working as well. Being able to sign with an American call sign gives that a little bit more clout. Also gives you full privileges of an American call sign. So for instance, you can run up to 1500 watts while you're in America. Obviously, if you're anywhere else, you have to abide by the licensing conditions of where you are. Thanks very much for watching. Next week, we're going to have a little bit of an email Q&A. I've had a number of emails come in since I started doing these videos on my channel. So next week, I'm going to go through those and provide answers where I can. If you want to add to the little question pool I've got, the email address is questions@m0jsx.radio. Until next time, thanks very much for watching, and 73. Bye-bye.